So today's video is going to be ranking the first episode of each season. The way this is going to work is we are going to be comparing them to each other. So let's just get straight into it. Bottom I put season 5 because it was just the auditions. I did like the episode. The reason why it's bottom is because not much really happened. Emily didn't want the hip hop dancers, so they didn't get the chance to audition, which caused a bit of an uproar. Amy said something, Michelle had a talking heads about it. Michelle was debating her place on the team because she was the only original A Troop member left. We find out Riley decided to step down as studio head and go to business school instead. The auditions happened, we find out who makes A Troop, and Michelle and Emily's rivalry reappears. I like the fact that Emily and Daniel came back, gave us season 1 vibes. Though it was kind of strange of Emily not to want hip hop dancers to audition. The reason why this is strange is because Emily was on a team that had a mix of all different styles. Emily also thought Hunter was stronger than Eldon, and yet Eldon has more technique than Hunter. And she also liked West, so... Also, Michelle and Emily's rivalry coming back felt like it was just because they needed a plot, like an actual plot. We saw Studio A in the final credits, didn't really pay attention to them. If you're basing your perception of what the season is going to be like based off the first episode, you're going to think, oh my god, we are no longer in Studio A. Oh my god, Miss Kate is gone. We've now got Emily and Daniel in charge who only want technical dancers. Michelle doesn't want to be on Emily's troupe anymore, so what's she gonna do? Just made you realise that drama is gonna happen. For me, it gave off the vibe that there's just gonna be drama in this season, like too much drama. Next is season 1. This one was hard to rank because it was the first episode of the first season. It didn't have the ability to have elements that others have. That is the only reason why it's so low, because it was a good first episode. They couldn't do an opening dance because we didn't know it was going to be on A Troop. So we had the auditions to form an A Troop. They didn't have a storyline to flash back to. They couldn't really talk about the future because they didn't know what was going to happen, whether they were even going to make it past regionals or not. I like the intro and how Miss Kate and Chris were realising they are on something big even though they didn't know it was going to be 7 seasons. I liked how we learned about A Troop, B Troop, J Troop, the E-Girls, the roller dance captain. It felt like an establishing episode and what we needed in an establishing episode. We saw Michelle and Emily's rivalry, we had hints about Jiley and how James is always trying to show off to the girls and how they eventually end up together. We find out Stephanie will do anything for Emily. The big cliffhanger was that Emily was not going to be happy with the final lineup because Emily had her A Troop planned and she made it clear that she doesn't want Michelle to ruin it. They just want to tune in to see who has made it into A Troop and who's not made it. Is it Emily? Is it someone from the E-Girls? Is Michelle made it? Who on earth has made it? The only reason it's low is because it was unable to have some of the other elements that other seasons had. Next is season 7. There was an opening dance, no flashbacks. Felt like a happy vibe, but it was quite rushed. No unison sections. It was a bit of a mishmash of a dance. I liked the dance, but it was not one of my most favourites. There was stuff established, like Noah and Jackie had left. Rochelle wanted to be dance captain. Ozzy says they're going to nationals. Piper is now confident and excited to dance with her best friends, which hints that Amy's now back on the team, and hints the Piper, Finn and Amy love triangle. Summer says her and Henry are pretty much solid, which hints that there's going to be Summer and Henry drama and how they might break up. Michelle leaves the studio and Emily's not taking it well. It was nice to see Emily show her vulnerability. She was sad, but she didn't want to show how sad she was. It was literally a true representation of Emily's personality. Michelle had a big leaving party. We saw all of A Troop and all of her costumes, flashbacks to her dances. It made us feel very nostalgic. Nick was introduced in this episode and we find out he's the new studio owner. And we find out Nick knows nothing about dance, which foreshadows him trying to choreograph and he's not really sure what he's doing. Rochelle being the face of Absolute Dance. Ugh, such a bad plot. Like, I really didn't like it. Like, it was cringy and it was quite childish. And turn people to be the worst version of themselves. Though it does foreshadow her having it and then it being taken away and Summer becoming the face of Absolute Dance. Ugh. Summer just kept rubbing it in Rochelle's face when she got it. Ugh, Summer was just such a bitch that season. It did make me emotional, so I liked it a lot. Next is season 6. I felt like there wasn't really anything childish going on, which is good, like really good. I like how there was a mixture of unison sections and everyone had a solo moment. Found out Michelle and Emily were fired and Miss Kate hired a new studio head and nobody has any idea who the new studio head could be. Which was the big storyline of this episode. Ozzy talks about how he's on A-Troop, what more could he want except for Rochelle, which foreshadows Rochelle and Ozzy having a strong friendship by the end of season 6. Amy talks about how this is her year to shine, which foreshadows her wanting to be in the front row and mad about how she's not front row and she gets put in the middle row. Jackie wants the top spot, which foreshadows her and Rochelle's rivalry. Josh, Sarah and Lola have left. We're then introduced to the new studio head, Miss Angela. Michelle and Emily are working at Shakes and Ladders. We're introduced to Finn, Kenzie, Lily, Summer. I like how we're gradually introduced to them rather than sort of best friends or enemies straight away. When we're introduced to them, we're like, ugh, not sure. We normally have auditions to find the best dancers. And then everyone unites over the fact they hate Miss Angela. It was natural seeing everyone just warm up to each other rather than enemies or best friends straight away. Angela's harsh with Piper, which foreshadows Piper struggling with anxiety and Miss Angela saying stuff to get into Piper's head, meaning she messes up her arrow in the contemporary dance. Was a side of Piper we'd never seen because normally Piper is usually happy, and since season 4 she's worked hard to establish herself as her own dancer on the team and get out of her brother's shadow. Amy tells Jackie she should try dancing more like Summer. That foreshadows how Amy, Rochelle and Jackie have a rivalry with Summer and all want to get on the front row. Then we have the big cliffhanger of where is Piper? She's not shown up to rehearsal. Where could she be? Is Piper going to be kicked off the team? If so, who's going to replace her? Is she staying on the team? So it made us want to tune in to find out. Next is season 2. There was an opening dance with flashbacks, which was nostalgic, brought back memories, and new people watching it to find out what happened in the last season. It gave fans who watched it in season 1 a recap of things that happened in season 1. I didn't love the dance though. There were no unison sections, but there were lots of solos and characters spoke about stuff that happened and stuff that was gonna happen. Michelle and Eldon, Jiley. We saw a new emotional side to Emily, which we'd never seen before. Tiffany mentioned how it's great to have everybody together soaking up the regionals win, which solidifies the fact that the team might change and Tiffany doesn't want the team to change. We have Chloe worrying about money, which foreshadows the money issues she has with Miss Kate. We found out Beth still has feelings for James, which hints at the fact Beth might have a thing with James this season. Emily announces that Michelle and Eldon are officially dating, which causes drama instantly. Chris left and his exit was so sad because he didn't want to leave, he didn't want to hurt Kate's feelings, but he wanted to take a better opportunity for himself. The big cliffhanger was A-Troop were debating whether to do the challenge, and if so, who was going to make it onto the team. It was a good cliffhanger because it made us want to tune in to find out, are they doing the challenge? If so, who's going to make it onto the team? I like cliffhangers because they make me want to come back and tune in. Next is season 4. I liked the first episode, I thought it was good. Their opening dance, take it to the top, take it to the top. And they're all celebrating their internationals win. They're all talking about their futures and what they're going to do next. I liked how the characters exited and how they did their bit and disappeared out the dance. Alden being sad about Talia was weird because you would think Talia and Alden would have a conversation about their relationship because that's what any couples would do that are in long distance relationships would do. At the end, Piper walks in and I liked it because she's carrying on James's legacy. Also, it's nice to see someone else auditioning from James's family. Alfie meets Riley. He finds out Riley and James are dating, which solidifies the Riley, James and Alfie drama. Should never have happened because Riley's been cheated on. She should know better than to go cheating on her boyfriend. We meet the new characters, which we don't really warm to or feel connected to. There wasn't loads of development with these new characters because the whole season was focused on James, Riley and Alfie. And we find out also Michelle wants to prove herself. Finally at top we have season 3. There was so much drama. The opening dance was very strong, very energetic. Nobody was shown to be the weak link. Everyone showed their strengths. It was a high level of difficulty. Lots of solos, lots of unison. We found out about internationals and Emily's injury. The next step, being evicted from the dance studio, Michelle's parents, Elite merging, Amanda trying to find her place on the team, multiple locations, Studio A, the juice bar, Aunt Kathy's house outside, the music room. It was good because there was lots of locations as well as lots of things happening. Also, James's band foreshadows his future and him having to balance dance and the band, which is a thing he struggles with throughout season 3. And also his future as well. To choose the band over dancing and everything that's related to the band. Sam bought the studio, which was drama with a big fat capital B. Found out about the exchange program, which was showed as Amanda going to Sweden and Ella coming from England. The episode ends with Miss Kate agreeing to merge with Elite in order for the next step to go to internationals, which is a massive deal because they've been the enemies for 2 seasons. We know they're the bad guys. And all of a sudden, they're on the team, they're going to internationals with the next step. Pardon. So, hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in another video. Bye.